All right, so today we're diving deep into what it takes to become a surgical instrument maker.
It's a really cool field, you know.
Oh yeah, for
Here
sure.
you get to blend like craftsmanship with, the medical field.
It's pretty awesome. We've actually got some like really cool stuff to look at today.
Yeah.
A career guide that shows how people like move up in this job
Mm-hmm.
and some questions people get asked in interviews.
Yeah, that's always helpful.
And then we'll even take a quick look at RoleCatcher and how it can help people land the job.
Definitely a useful tool.
So why don't we jump right into those interview questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because those can be a little scary, right?
For sure.
So the first one we have is, what motivated you to become a surgical instrument maker?
Hmm.
Seems like a pretty basic question, but
Yeah, it does.
how do you really knock it out of the park?
I think it's all about showing genuine passion,
Yeah.
instead of just kind of giving like a list of reasons. Like really share like an anecdote or something that like sparked your interest.
Totally.
Was there surgery that you saw that like really made you think, wow, this is amazing?
Right.
Or have you always just, loved taking things apart and putting them back together?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So like personalize it a bit.
Yeah, personalize it.
Instead of just being like,
Oh.
oh, I like working with my hands.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I've always been just fascinated by the like detail in these instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to, be a part of helping others.
That's a much better answer.
Yeah, way better.
It really highlights like you understand the bigger picture,
Right.
how these instruments really play like a vital part in healthcare.
Exactly. And they might even ask you then, like, well, what kind of instruments do you really want to work with?
Oh, yeah, that's a good follow-up.
Right.
Yeah.
Be ready for that. Okay, so another one is, how do you ensure the quality of the surgical instruments you produce? So this is all about, showing how detail-oriented you are
Mhm.
and all those, like, quality control processes about.
You got to go beyond just saying you're careful, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to show that you really understand the industry standards.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like you could mention something like ISO 13485,
Uh-huh.
which outlines like a quality management system for medical devices,
Okay, yeah.
or talk about specific measures, like visual inspections or dimensional checks, to make sure everything is just perfect.
Absolutely. So they know that you know what it takes to get that quality.
Exactly.
What kind of follow-up questions do you think they would ask?
Well, they might dig a bit deeper into like specific tools or software you've used
Right.
for quality control.
Okay.
Or maybe they throw a hypothetical at you. Like,
I'll bite those.
imagine you find a little defect during the final inspection. What do
Yeah.
you do?
Oh, that's a good one.
That really tests your problem-solving skills
Totally.
right there on the spot.
Yeah, that's a good one. And this is where something like RoleCatcher can come in handy, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's got like tons of potential interview questions,
Mhm.
even ones that are, specific to surgical instrument making.
Right.
So you can practice
That's so helpful.
and get feedback from the AI
Yeah.
about how to make your answers even better.
It's like having your own interview coach in your pocket.
Totally. Okay, so next one is, how do you handle a situation where a surgical instrument you produced does not meet the required standards? So this is where you show.
You got to take responsibility here and
Yeah.
be ready to like really problem solve.
Yes.
Right. Because patient safety is on the line.
Exactly.
So you start by, acknowledging how serious it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then explain how you would document the issue really carefully, right?
Right.
Isolate that faulty instrument, prevent
Oh.
it from being used.
Yeah.
And then really get to the bottom of why it happened.
So it's not just about fixing it.
No, it's about preventing it from ever happening again.
Right. Okay.
And you could mention specific problem-solving methods,
Like what?
like maybe the 5 whys
Oh,
or
sure.
fishbone analysis.
Mhm.
And don't forget to talk about how you'd communicate with your supervisor and work with the team
Yep.
to find the best solution.
Okay. Good point.
They might even ask if you've dealt with something like this before,
Oh, yeah. If you've got a real life example.
Yeah, always good to have one ready to go.
All right. So now we have, can you describe a particularly challenging project you have worked on and how you overcame any obstacles? So it's your chance to really tell a story,
Oh, yeah, love a good story.
to highlight your skills
Mm-hmm,
and show that you're resilient.
definitely.
Maybe you had to repair some really complex instrument
Yeah.
with hardly any tools.
Right.
Or maybe you had to tweak a design to fit
Oh, yeah, I've had to do that.
a surgeon's, specific needs.
That can be tricky.
Really walk them through how you thought it all out.
Right.
How did you pinpoint the problem?
Hmm.
What different things did you try?
Yeah.
What resources did you have to use?
Right.
And then ultimately, how did you make it work?
That's the best part.
So it's all about the storytelling.
Absolutely.
Don't just be like, I did this and then I did that.
No, no, bring it to life.
Make them feel like they were right there with you.
Exactly.
They might even ask you, like, what did you learn from that?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic follow-up.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like, how did it make you a better instrument maker?
Good question.
So be ready to talk about that.
For sure.
Okay, before we hit any more of those questions,
Mm-hmm.
let's take a quick look at that career guide we were talking about.
Yeah, good idea.
So it basically lays out like 3 main stages for surgical instrument makers:
Okay.
entry-level, junior, and then senior. So what are some things people should know about, like each level?
Okay, so at the entry level, you're mostly assisting those experienced makers.
Right.
Kind of like your apprenticeship.
Oh, yeah.
You're learning the ropes, building a solid foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It might be cleaning, sterilizing, observing repairs, helping with basic stuff.
Right.
It's all about soaking up knowledge from those who've been there.
So it's hands-on from the start.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
That's awesome. Then what happens when you move into junior?
At the junior level, you start taking on more responsibility on your own.
Oh,
You're creating, repairing instruments,
Huh.
maybe focusing on a specific type,
Mm.
maybe working directly with healthcare professionals
Oh, wow.
to really understand their needs.
Yeah.
This is where you really get to hone your skills,
Gotcha.
problem solve, and really start to believe in yourself.
Love that. And finally, the senior level.
Ah, the expert.
This is where, like, you're the master.
You got it. Senior instrument makers often lead teams, mentor others,
Yeah.
might even get involved in designing specialized instruments.
Oh, wow.
They really understand the materials, the techniques, everything. It's amazing.
So you could, like, start by assisting
Right.
and end up, like, running the show or creating brand new tools.
That's what I love about this career path.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump back into those interview questions.
Okay, let's do it.
This one is, how do you stay up to date with the latest technology and advancements in surgical instrument making? I mean, this field is always changing.
Oh, for sure.
So they want to know that you're, like, keeping up.
This is your chance to show that you're proactive. Talk about the publications you read, the organizations you're part of, conferences you attend.
Yeah.
What are you excited about? Like 3D printing, robotic-assisted surgery.
Right, so not just, I like learning new things.
No, be specific.
Show them you're actually out there, like,
That's-
researching and stuff. They might even ask you, like, okay, tell me about a recent advancement that you, like, looked into.
Oh, yeah, good one.
So be ready to talk specifics.
Definitely.
And again, this is where RoleCatcher can, like, help you out.
For sure.
They have insights into industry trends, even suggest courses or certifications you could take.
Oh, yeah, I've used that feature.
It's pretty awesome. Okay, last one for this part.
All right.
How do you meet production deadlines while maintaining quality standards? So it's like, how do you work fast, but also, like, really precisely?
It's a delicate balance for
Yeah.
sure. You got to show them you can manage your time, prioritize, stay organized, but never, ever compromise on quality.
Yeah.
Talk about your techniques like detailed work plans, breaking down big tasks, using time management tools.
So it's not just about speed.
No, it's about working smart.
Exactly. What kind of follow-up questions might they ask about that?
Maybe they'll ask you to describe a time you had to juggle multiple deadlines.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Or had to, like, really prioritize under pressure.
Okay.
Be ready with specific examples. Show them you can adapt and deliver even when things get hectic.
Totally. And hey, don't forget, RoleCatcher can help you practice these answers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you feel super confident going into that interview.
That's the goal.
All right, stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive,
Can't wait.
where we'll tackle even more interview questions and give you all the info you need to land that dream job.
That's going to be good.
See you then.
All right, see ya. All right, welcome back to our deep dive on becoming a surgical instrument maker.
It's great to be back. Before we jump back into those interview questions, I wanted to touch on something we mentioned earlier, like that sterile environment
Oh, yeah, that's important.
where you actually work.
Definitely.
It's easy to get caught up in the technical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but we got to remember this is healthcare.
Absolutely.
So, like, can you paint us a picture of what it's really like working in that kind of setting?
Right. So imagine a really bright, clean room,
Okay.
almost like a laboratory. And you're probably wearing gloves, a lab coat, maybe even eye protection, depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Everything is just like super organized,
Okay.
all the tools, the materials, even the air is filtered,
Really?
to keep everything sterile.
Wow, that's intense. I can, like, feel the pressure already.
It's definitely a precise environment,
Yeah.
but you get used to it.
Okay.
And you develop this like deep respect for the instruments
Mm-hmm.
because you know they're going to be used inside the human body.
Right.
So every little detail matters.
Yeah.
The finish, the alignment, everything.
Wow.
It can be tough, but it's also what makes it so rewarding.
I can see that. Okay, let's get back to those interview questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
This one is, how do you ensure that you are following all relevant safety and regulatory guidelines when producing surgical instruments?
Mm-hmm.
So this is all about, knowing the rules
Oh, absolutely.
and showing that you actually follow them.
Compliance is key in this field.
What are some things people should talk about in their answer?
Well, you got to start by mentioning specific regulatory bodies, right?
Okay.
Like the FDA here in the U.S.,
Uh-huh.
talk about good manufacturing practices, GMP,
Mm.
how they ensure quality and safety throughout the whole process.
So like documentation, making sure you can trace where materials came from,
Yeah.
having those controlled environments.
Yeah, all those little details that add up to a safe and effective instrument.
That's super important.
Oh, yeah.
You could also talk about specific safety protocols you're familiar with, like wearing the right gear,
Yes,
keeping your workspace sterile,
absolutely.
following the rules for, handling and getting rid of materials.
They might even ask you about a time you had to follow a safety protocol that maybe slowed things down a bit.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, like how did you handle that?
That's a tough one. They're really trying to see how you think on your feet.
Exactly. They want to know if you prioritize safety even when it's not convenient.
Right.
So have a story ready to go.
Yeah, good example.
One that shows you always put safety first.
Okay, next question is, can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with a surgical instrument and come up with a creative solution? So they're looking for that problem solver, right?
Oh, yeah. Someone who can think outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pick an example that really shows off your technical skills,
Okay.
but also how resourceful you are.
Uh,
Maybe you had to fix something with almost no tools
wow.
or modify a design right there on the spot.
Yeah, that takes creativity.
For sure.
Really walk them through how you figured it out.
Right.
Like, how'd you approach the problem?
Mm-hmm.
What different solutions did you think about?
Yeah.
And then what did you actually do to fix it?
And how did it work out in the end?
Yeah. Did it actually solve the problem?
Exactly.
And maybe even make things better?
It's all about the story you tell.
Yeah, paint that picture for them.
Don't just list the steps.
Right.
Make them feel like they were right there with you.
Totally. They might even ask you what you learned from that experience
Oh, yeah, good point.
or how it, changed your approach to problem solving.
So be prepared to reflect on that.
Okay, good advice. Now let's talk about how do you ensure that you are producing surgical instruments that are ergonomic and comfortable for surgeons to use. So this is all about user-friendly design. Right?
Absolutely. You got to think about the surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
These instruments need to be comfortable to use, especially during long surgeries.
Right. So how do you show them that you get that?
Well, you could start by explaining what ergonomics means
Okay.
in the context of surgical instruments. It's about making them easy to use, efficient, and safe.
Yeah.
Think about the grip, the weight, the force needed to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to minimize strain on the surgeon's hands and wrists.
All those little details.
Exactly.
They might even ask you to describe specific ergonomic features you'd consider.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Or maybe they give you a scenario like a surgeon who's having trouble with an instrument.
Right.
And they ask how you'd redesign it to be more comfortable. So they really want to see how you apply what you know.
That's right.
Okay, this next one is a classic. What is your biggest weakness? Everyone hates this question, right?
It can be tricky, but it's a chance to show them you're self-aware
Yeah.
and that you're always trying to improve.
So don't just try to disguise a strength as a weakness.
No, that never works.
What's a better way to answer?
Be honest, but pick something that's relevant to the job,
Okay,
but not a deal breaker.
like that.
Maybe you say, sometimes I get so focused on the details that I lose sight of the big picture,
Mhm.
or I'm a bit of a perfectionist, which can sometimes slow me down.
Right, so it's something you can work on,
Exactly.
and you got to tell them how you're actually doing that.
Are you taking a course, getting feedback from colleagues,
Yeah, okay.
developing strategies to be better?
So you're showing them you're taking action.
Yes, always show them you're trying to grow.
They might even ask you to give an example of when that weakness affected your work
Oh, yeah. Good point.
and what you learned from it.
So be ready with a quick story.
Mm-hmm.
And again, RoleCatcher can help you practice your answer.
Yeah.
Build your confidence.
Make that weakness into an opportunity.
Exactly.
All right. Welcome back to our deep dive. We're in the home stretch now, ready to wrap up this interview prep.
We've covered so much already, from the career path itself to all those tough interview questions.
Yeah, and how RoleCatcher can help.
Exactly. But there's one more question we got to talk about.
Okay.
The one that can really leave a lasting impression.
All right, I'm all ears.
It's, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, that one. Seems simple enough.
Right, but it's your chance to show them you're really interested.
Okay.
Not just in the job, but in the company itself.
So what kind of questions did I ask?
Don't ask anything you could easily Google,
Right, yeah.
Ask something that shows you've done your homework.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe you notice they focus on innovation.
Okay.
You could ask about their approach to research and development.
Oh, I see.
That shows you're thinking beyond just the day-to-day work.
Yeah, I get it.
You could ask about the team, their professional development programs, even specific challenges they're facing.
So it's about showing I'm, really engaged.
Exactly. That you want to be a part of their success.
Okay, good tip. Before we wrap up, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
It's not just for practicing interview questions.
No way.
It can help you throughout your whole job search.
Absolutely. Their CV and resume builder is amazing,
Really?
especially if you're applying for a bunch of different jobs.
Okay.
It helps you tailor your application to each specific role.
Wow, how does it do that?
It analyzes job descriptions, picks out key skills,
Uh-huh.
and helps you highlight the most relevant experience.
So it's like having someone translate my skills.
Yeah, kind of. It helps you speak the language of recruiters.
That's awesome.
It goes beyond just keywords, though. It
Yeah.
suggests accomplishments to highlight, quantifies your achievements,
Wow.
even make sure your CV is laid out nicely.
So it's about presentation, too.
Oh, yeah. First impressions are everything.
Right. What else does it do?
It's got a career compass feature.
Oh, what's that?
Gives you insights into different industries, shows you what skills are in demand,
Uh-huh.
even suggests courses or certifications you could take.
So it's like a career counselor.
Kinda. And if you ever feel stuck, they have a bunch of career guides too.
It sounds like RoleCatcher has, everything.
It really does. It can save you so much time and stress.
And hopefully help you land that dream job.
That's the goal.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything
We
today.
really have, from exploring the career path
Mm-hmm.
to mastering those interview questions.
And finding the right tools to help us along the way.
Exactly. Don't let fear hold you back.
Yeah.
Take that first step. Build your skills. Never stop learning.
It's a journey, but it sounds like an exciting one.
Oh, it definitely is. And remember, you're not alone.
Right.
With the right preparation and a lot of passion,
Yeah.
you can create a career that's both fulfilling and impactful.
That's awesome. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
And best of luck with your job search.
You got this.